there's still enough prospects out there, just like there's always enough zebras for every business.
Yeah.
And if we just pursue zebras, the world will literally even be a better place.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast, live here on TSE TV. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we're going to talk to our friend Jeff Kozer, who is the CEO and founder of an organization known as Diversify. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly why he named his company that, but you're going to hear all about it in our episode. But as I mentioned, today's episode is going to be unique. You probably listened to a little bit of the teaser there already. Jeff is going to talk to us about how we can make sure that when we reach out to a prospect, that we are actually giving them an out. Especially right now as we're battling through the pandemic and going through a challenging time, not everyone is in a position where they can buy. However, that shouldn't limit us from reaching out. And he's going to tell us about a strategy that he's using. Now, note to the listener and to watcher, I want you to be aware that this is not the only strategy. This is not the end-all be-all. Jeff is using it. It's effective for him. Perhaps it won't be effective for you and your organization or your industry, but you know what? You will never know until you try it. So listen to Jeff, see what he has to share, and go ahead and apply it to your business. Let's go ahead and dive into the episode. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Hey, Donald, thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to chat with you again, and I'm grateful that we're able to still meet underneath the circumstances here, and we're battling coronavirus right now, middle of it as a country, as a world.
Exactly, as a world.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I know there's a lot of things that's going to happen, and one of the things that I do know is that we're going to pull out of this eventually. The idea is, how do we get back on a horse? How do we start back over? And I'm excited to talk to you about that today. But we have some new folks listening to our show who probably didn't get a chance to connect with you last time. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and what you do, Jeff?
Okay, so I'm the founder and the CEO of a company called Zebrify. We used to be known as Selling to Zebras, so some of your listeners might know us based on our award-winning book, Selling to Zebras. But basically, a zebra is your perfect prospect. We call it a zebra because even if a 3-year-old looks at a zebra, right?
Yeah.
Whether they see them at the zoo or at a picture, they know exactly what they're looking at, and that's the whole philosophy behind the simplicity of it and the purity of it, if you will. And we've built a business with software. It's called software guided selling. So we actually have software that guides B2B salespeople through a best practice way to communicate and collaboratively sell, along with collaborate with their prospects, collaborate with their customers to arrive at a mutually beneficial place at the end.
There you go. That's awesome. And I think it's a powerful stuff. And if you want to listen to our first episode, you guys could check that out. We also have a link back into it as well, and you can get a chance to learn a little bit more about Zebrify. But in the interim right now, talking about this topic, when you and I first connected, Jeff, we had the discussion about how, about the content that we're going to deliver, and this thought came up. But why is this one so pressing for you right now? And I mean, obviously, I know for the whole world, everybody is concerned and trying to figure out how they can start back up. But for you, you're very passionate about this, and you share some insights that I felt was very informative. I mean, would be very great for our audience. But tell us a little bit more about that.
So right now, like we're talking about on the front end of the show here, I think that all of us have to be very sensitive to the current world situation. I mean, our goal is very lofty, as you know from talking with me last time. Our goal is to change the way the world sells, but all of us have to recognize that who we are, what we're selling, what our business represents might not be a priority for everyone right now. They might have very different priorities. So we're approaching every sales situation, whether it's prospect or customer, with a format that basically gives them a simple out. So for example, when we write an email, if we haven't touched one of our customers or prospects in a while, we say something like, I hope you, your family, your fellow employees and customers are healthy and safe. With respect to the current world situation, we want to be very respectful of how we reach out to you. And we understand if you have entirely different priorities at the moment. But if the timing is right and we can help, we'd like to do so. So it's something along those lines that gives them a very quick and easy out. And then if they don't respond, well, that was a response, right? If they don't
Yeah.
respond, that means they do have other priorities.
Yeah, and I think I like the messaging behind that because again, it's like you said, one, it's simple. Two, it gives them an opportunity to have an out. And three, it also says if, because I do believe that not everyone is in a bad situation. I mean, everyone is in a tough situation, but I do believe
Hmm.
certain industries do have the capabilities and people do have needs for our products and services. And I'll give you an example. It's not every business not like this, but you know, God forbid, I mean, I'm glad we have our grocery stores because if we
Hmm.
it weren't for them, we would be all, have a look right now, but they're an organization that still they still have need. They're still generating a lot of income and they still need their vendors and they still need to have
Hmm.
frontline advertisements and those things. And I look at TV and I see so many different ads. Every company has pivoted. So it's not to say, and I think that's where sellers get hung up. I'm actually working on a post right now, and one of the things is about how sales rep was talking to me and sharing how he doesn't even feel like prospecting, feel like it's a waste. And I think that's not the
Right.
case. You know what I mean?
Well, but I think you have to be careful even with that. I'll
Yeah.
give you an example of what I mean. So last week I got 149 email messages in my spam folder in a 124-hour period.
Oh my goodness.
149. So and a lot of them, because of automation and automated marketing and even account-based marketing and the software that drives it, there's a lot of really good messaging there that we're even inoculated against good messaging, right? Because we get so much of it. So we are reaching out. There's a lot of companies that are reaching out, but most of them are not done in a respectful way that preserves the individual who's sending it, their individual brand, or the brand of their company. I think you're tarnishing your own personal brand if you don't do it in a way that puts the other person first, which is always the best way to sell anyway. But
Yeah.
in these times, it's paramount, right?
Do you have any of those messages you've seen that just was because you got 149 in the spam folder? Any that was that you can maybe somebody is listening to this and they're like, "Dang it, I sent Jeff an email. I hope it didn't come across bad." What was it that email said, or some of those emails? I know it's probably hard to put on the spot to think about what that email was like, but I imagine they didn't put you first.
Yeah, so some of them, so I did pop open a couple because a couple catch your eye in the subject line, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's a credit to them if I looked at any of them because they were standing in the way of me and getting home, right? So, and that's the way we have to view it. I mean, any messaging that we send to somebody that wasn't invited is really might be an annoyance at this time. But the ones that were the most annoying launched right into their product, literally, without any reference to the time in the world we're in right now, the pandemic, COVID-19, and the just what people are going through, literally on every continent. And others that were a little bit better did briefly mention the current world situation. Maybe with a quick note, hope you're safe and healthy, but I really want to sell you this product. So I think that approach has always been annoying, but now it's even more so, and I think it's um, I so let's talk about what somebody can do
Yeah.
and stay positive, right? So I think what they can do is they can do their homework and they can make sure that the prospect that they're pursuing and even the customer that they're pursuing, that they adamantly know that they are the fit, that individual or that company really is a solid fit, that they have, one, the problem that they solve with their product, not the product itself, but the problem they solve, right? Two, that they're talking to the right person that owns that problem and would be responsible for solving it inside of a company. And three, they need to know how much value they would create by solving that problem and why it would be worth that person's time even now. So that would be my recommendation, and to stay in that tight circle.
So you guys are doing this right now. Why don't you give us an example, or maybe some of the clients that you have that's been masterfully taking advantage of this, or how you guys are doing it? The who define going deep in that problem and how you can solve that problem. Would you be willing to give us an example?
Sure. We, even now, I mean, we've had some clients pull back and say, "Hey, you have to help us right now because, we just don't have the cash coming in that we normally have." So we've done that, and but we've also signed new business during this time, and it's because we have found a couple of customers that I want during this time. They, just like you said, we're coming out of this. We don't know when, but we're coming out of this, and so they're planning for it. One of the things, I don't want to turn this into anything about us, so I'll be really careful. But one of the things we do is we talk to our customers' customers. It's called
Hmm.
voice of the customer work, and we ask them, in their eyes, what problem was solved by buying our customer solution. So now you have the vision of what the company does, what problem they solve through the eyes of the customer. And their words are always more powerful than our own, whether it's a salesperson saying it or our marketing department or anybody else other than the customer. And we get this information from them by talking to the executive who would be the decision maker for our customer solution. And we also ask them, when you solved it, using our customer solution, what value did that create for your business? So we get their view of that as well. And we're looking for quantifiable metrics, even from esoteric things, some
Yeah.
things that are hard to quantify, right? But the reason I bring this up now is because a lot of times our customers are selling to executives.
Hmm.
They might be vice presidents, they might be a little higher than that, they might be a little lower than that, but they're executives, and they have the ability to buy the solution. We say that that person that has the ability to buy your solution, we call that person power. And our simple definition of power is that they can buy even without a budget, because they can move budget around if you show them something that makes sense for them, that would solve a problem and create value that maybe they didn't even know they could address. So it's tough to get to those people. And at this time, they're all sheltered at home, just like us. So it might be good timing to reach them. And actually, it's proven to be the case.
Yeah.
This client that we just signed up, the customers that sometimes we chase tactfully but diligently for weeks and even months sometimes to talk with them, we've got them lined up to talk to us. So, we can get the core work that we try to do that usually takes the longest, we can get that done quickly. So they're investing right now in that, and we thought it might be easier, and actually it's proved to be easier. And I think people are looking for something positive to do in their day, right?
Yeah.
And if they can give back to a customer that, or to a company that has treated them well, and they can say something positive, and I think it all just makes everybody feel better, frankly.
Yeah. So go back to this. I really like the idea of the voice of the customer, because I mean that just makes so much sense, and I feel that's the next level research. Sometimes as sales reps, we'll go and look in our customer's website and see what they're saying,
Hmm.
but about their own business, but what their customers are saying. Obviously, that's going to be able to drive tremendous value. And I can see that be able to, obviously help in your pitch or your outreach. And you talk about the quantifiable data, being able to quantify some of that information. I think that's awesome. That's fantastic. But I'm also thinking about the sales rep in me that's thinking, holy crap, I can't do this. This is so much work. How do I make this happen? I'm trying to survive right now. I have a mortgage to pay and I need to get
Yeah.
some kind of money. I don't want to lose this job and I can't spend all my day researching. Dígame, talk to me about that part. How do I go about making that happen?
Yeah, good questions. And it is a lot of work. And it's work just to get those calls scheduled. It's work to prepare for them. Because so w- I'll give you a little bit of the backdrop
Yeah,
for most companies. So most companies, when they sell the first time to a new customer, they might meet the person that we just described before, the person we call power, and they
yeah.
might not, right? But that person is always looming somewhere, that maybe they're behind the scenes. If we do meet them and they approve the purchase, usually our relationship doesn't stay at that level, doesn't stay at the power level. It settles back down to the user level, whoever the user of our solution is, the day-to-day person, right? So we've lost contact with power. So if we ever knew who that was in the first place, that's the first problem. And if we did, we no longer have that relationship. So we have to find out who that person is now. So you have to do a little bit of homework there. And you have to also, we prescribe that you have to try to figure out, what do we think that customer might say in terms of what is our value? What problems do we think they might say are the problems we solve for them, to get the conversation started? And you have to do research on their business so that you understand what it is they do and how they do it, so that you can dive in and get good detailed information, the good type of information you're looking for. And without that level of preparation, it'll just turn into a reference call, which is not really what you want, right? If they say good things, that the customer always does what they say they're going to do, or whatever. If they say you're looking for deeper metrics. You're looking for the deeper conversation. So we actually wrote a white paper on this. It's called Voice of the Customer, and we'll send you a link to that. It's on our website.
Please.
Yeah, we'll send you a link to that, and it describes this process. Um, and most companies, like you said before, can't do it themselves. That's part of why we exist. That's part of what we do. Um, and it's that information that becomes the raw material for building out the rest of the tools that we build, that help guide sales through this software driven path that we create for each customer.
Is it? Would you be willing to talk a little bit more about some of your softwares and tools and how some of these could help them?
Sure. um, so we call it software guided selling, and what we recommend is that everybody create their zebra, and our software allows you to do that and to measure it. It allows you to find zebras, and in fact, your show is, this is, believe it or not, this is the first time we're announcing a new product we have.
Yes.
It's called the Zebra Sales Bot for Salesforce. And what it is, it's a little button that lives inside a Salesforce, tiny little thing that when you click it, if you're on a good prospect or you're on a good customer, it'll go find 5 more that look just like that for you.
Wow.
So, but now here's a little bit of a caveat. So we've started with manufacturers, software companies, so high-tech software companies, and services companies. And those are the ones that we've ingested the information into our system, so that it can go find 5 that look just like that prospect or customer that you're on right now. So that's where we have data.
So that's it's it sounds like in my mind initially I thought it was going to pull information based on the prospects you currently have in your Salesforce, but this is going out to the web and finding potential people.
That's exactly what we did.
Wow.
So we went out and we used federated, it's called federated search, and we combed the web and we ingested that information into we're actually using AI and machine learning. Not that anybody cares, but that's how it happens. And yeah, we've been working on this for several years because we've got great data. on what makes a perfect prospect for our customers. So that's the type of information that we started to gather, that as you look at, if you say, if you're in Salesforce, for example, and you say, this is our best customer, click on it and it'll go find you 5 more just like it. You could do it, you could say, okay, this is our best customer in this vertical, or this is our best large customer in this vertical, or this is our best medium customer in this vertical. So those are just, I mean, just think of some of the scenarios that you could do. And we're offering your listeners a free beta of this capability
Sweet.
for 6 months. How's that?
That's a deal. There
And
you
you
go.
know why we did it first on your show?
What is that?
Because you have been the most persistent about getting us back on with you. You do it the way we teach it, frankly. You do it nicely with verve, but you don't go away. You know? And that's the same way we are. You always leave us feeling good about your brand, and that's why we decided to go first on your show.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I love the information that you always share. So we figured, we want to get you back in front of our community, and the topic was very enticing, and so we're like, we got to get Jeff back. So I'm glad glad we did. I'm glad we were persistent, and I'll tell the team. I'm sure they're listening to this episode now as we're going through the recording. So if I'm the sales manager or I'm the sales rep, and I had just heard this, I could take advantage of this tool. It can help me with being sensitive. It can help me accomplish these things,
Yes.
right? As I'm going back out, as I'm starting back up, because let's say it's day 1, or let's say month 1. I'm guessing right now. I'm just going to throw random data out there. Let's just say it's June 1 and things have been lifted and we're going back to work. What's my first thing I should be doing right now as that sales leader of this team?
So that's why we also wrote a talk track and an email template to go along with this. So similar to what we were talking about before, about how do you approach a prospect now? I mean, what words do you use to prove that you do care, that you are sensitive, but that you're also open for business,
Yeah.
right? So we've, with the information that we'll send you following our discussion today, there will be a link to our website where they can go get templates for how do you start a new sales cycle conversation, how do you try to close a deal in this environment. What are some suggested ways for doing that? So we'll give you links to those so that they can start up in a respectful, tactful, and hopefully also effective way.
Well, I love that, and I'm grateful for these tools. I'm grateful for this insights. Now, one thing, does your tool, it works with Salesforce right now? Any other CRMs that you guys have looming that they could work with?
Yeah, so we are working on others, and it also works inside of our software, but you don't, because of the way we've architected this, you don't have to have our software to do it this time,
Yeah.
which is really nice. So it's very inexpensive even once we do launch it for real, where people will license it. But our vision is to be in all the major CRMs eventually. We want to do the beta though to make sure that it's working as well as we think it is,
Yeah.
and get feedback from your listeners as they leverage it to help them with their sales growth and fill in their pipeline.
Well, we'll definitely make sure we push that out, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm excited. So as you're listening to this episode, you guys should definitely go back into the show notes and connect with Jeff and take advantage of this offer and this tool. But Jeff, if there's one major takeaway you'd like folks, sales reps and sales leaders alike who are listening to this episode or getting ready to get back on a horse, if there's one major information or source of information you want them to get, what's that one major piece of advice?
So I would recognize that this isn't all about you. It's not all about me. It's not all about them. It's all about the prospect today and their current situation. So you've got to be respectful of that and recognize that their priorities might be very different, and allow that. And there's still enough prospects out there, just like there's always enough zebras for every business.
Yeah.
And if we just pursue zebras, the world will literally even be a better place.
Oh man, so darn true. Well, Jeff, we appreciate you coming back on the show. If folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do so?
So they can reach me at Jeff@Zebrafy, Zebrafi.com.
Jeff at Zebrafy. Jeff, again, thank you again. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Donald. I appreciate you too.
So thank you so much for taking the time to watch our episode today. That was Mr. Jeff Kozer. If you want to connect with Jeff, you can find all the details down below, as well as going back to our website, thesalesevangelist.com. Jeff has produced a lot of great content for his organization, and they did give us a free gift, which I want you to take advantage of. You can find that link down below. We'll also have it pop up here on the screen so you can take advantage of it. But Jeff, again, they've been very generous, and I would highly recommend you check out Zebrafy. See if what they're doing can benefit you and your organization. See if it can benefit you. Also, I want you to tell you about our friends Crumble. You're seeing their logo down below as one of our sponsors. They have an amazing tool, an amazing CRM that can help anyone who doesn't have anything at all. And if you do have something and you're just not too impressed with it, check out what the folks over at Crumble are doing. Find all the details again down below. As always, I bring on folks like Jeff. I share content like this because I want to help you. I want you to succeed. That's my goal. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say. I want you to be able to build stronger value. I want you to be able to close more deals. But most importantly, I want to challenge you each and every single day to push yourself to go out and do big things. See you on the next one. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.